show you guys what I've been working on for a couple of years now, actually. So this right here is the interior that we're going to use. That's an original old stock 4-wheel drive conversion. There's Bubs. That's transmission. That's a divorce transfer case. It's a conversion kit for a 77 Toyota short box. Original old stock that I found in the back of a car lot. This is the 1/2 or 1/8 inch thick black rubber diamond plate that we're going to line the interior with. That's going to be the headliner, that's going to be the floor, and the rear firewall. So what we did is we gutted her. So tinted the windows. Kind of see the little bit of a tint there. There you kind of see the difference, but he wanted to go legal, not my choice. We're putting 6 1/4 in the door. We'll have a Kenwood deck with telephone right there, a little microwave or microphone that we can talk into. He let me cut a hole in the rear firewall because there's a hump there. When they stamp out this cab that's for the transmission for an extended cab, they leave the hump there when they fold it up on a standard cab. So you got a nice little hump right there, which doesn't leave you much options for one single sub, and I like things, you know, centered. If you only got one, it's got to be in the middle. So we made the box part of the truck. So we're mounting a Exelon shallow mount 10-inch sub in there. It'll be sound deadened as well as the rest of the truck is sound deadened. Put in the steering wheel. I LED'd the lights behind the dash. Moved his headlight switch right here. Is gone. Now it's down there on his little switchboard there, and that controls all of the lights that are in this truck. I converted the headlights, so we removed one headlight. The inner set of headlights, we removed those, only to remain keeping the outer set. So I had to make the outer set work with a high and a low beam in one headlight is what the idea behind that. So we got these little guys. Well, we got a little filter and stuff we're using, and all the stuff. I'm still going through it, but anyway, what we do is we're going to take headlights. Inner headlights are gone. I'm going to put this on the inside, so that's your filter, and it'll run basically air directly into the carburetor through a cone in the front. There you go, carbon fiber cone for that. Then we'll do a custom grill, of course. Then what we have to do in order to do that, because the filter is going to be right where the battery is. So right now I got a makeshift battery here for power, so I can run all this wiring that I've been doing. Yeah, so we had to put the battery under the bed. We're going to tilt the bed, so the bed is actually going to tilt up this way, so we can get to the battery and the fuel tank and everything else. It's not going to be considered a dump bed, because we're not going to be hauling anything with it. This is a show truck, not meant to really work hard. It's just meant to freaking haul ass and have 4-wheel drive, you know, which is kind of cool for a 77. So what we did is we mounted you can't see it, but there's a kill switch on the inside of here, master kill switch, and then I got a breaker mounted for the sub right next to it, and that, or for the amplifier, and that's going to runs right into the cab. So if he has a surge, it's not a fuse, it's a breaker, so they'll go breaker pop. I mounted underglow right underneath that edge. Those are not quite hooked up yet, but they're getting there. And then I got underglow under the cab. I got 2 strips under the cab. I got 2 strips under the hood. And then of course the headlights have their own little halo, and they'll do their own thing. Those are pretty slick. But I had to use the wiring harness from 95 Tacoma to do the headlights. So those high and low beams do work on the outside now. And it's all wired to the ignition, so you'll see the switches light up. There we go. There we go. So okay, got headlights See those? Neat. And then we got underglow other switches. LED the dash, so it's all nice and bright, very clear, easy. Polished up the lenses too, took a buff to it. A little dusty, but it actually gets cleaner, believe it or not. Look at that. Yeah. Well, anyway, buffed all those out so they're nice and pretty. And then I think that is the windshield wipers, I believe. Yeah. Yep. Anyway, so this is the sound box right here. So this little box right here picks up the sound from the sub and will light up everything with the bass. So you can see underneath here is let's see, there we go. So that lights up. Whoops. Then we got rock lights under the fenders. I don't have those on yet, but those will light up the, of course the fender will. I'll have them two underneath the back, 2 strips under there, and then you got 2 strips under the hood. I don't know if that's showing anything. Oh yeah, it is. There we go. You got that one there and that one over there. So that'll light up the engine bay. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then, what else did we do? Oh, there's the sound deadening. I think I touched on that. Let's turn that off and then kill the sink. Oh, those aren't, no, those halos are very separate. Those are going to have to be turned off manually. But that's okay. Over here. And we'll here, kill the master. There we go. Oh, I put green lights under the dash too. I don't know if you noticed that when I opened the door, but green lights on the dash. Here's the motor right here. It's custom forged pistons, bored out. I think he went 30 over. I'm not sure. It was as much as he could go, but it'll push about. It's all balanced, custom forged pistons. Nice head. All the head and port and polish the head. So, nice stainless valves, all nice and smooth, nice and polished. And then we opened up the intake and the exhaust, so it can suck in some real fuel in here. She'll be pushing. She went from 95 horse to 190 horse, so she should have a lot of power, plenty to move her down the road. So that's the Toyota. That's the baby right there. We're going to have polished aluminum interior. So we're doing polished aluminum center console, polished aluminum door panels, and dash pad. And we're going to trim out the roof because it's going to have that black rubber on there with the polished aluminum around it. Do something trick with those ugly things. And then just shove a 6x9 right in there, and a 6 1/4 in the door, or 5 1/4 in the door. Can't remember which one it was. But yeah, it'll have plenty of sound. Sound very nice, especially all sound deadened. We got tint for the back window and new weather stripping for both front and back, so we're gonna put that in. And then let's see, what else are we doing to this thing? I mean, it's pretty much a complete rebuild. I think we're gonna play around with the motor before we put on the 4-wheel drive. The 4-wheel drive will be last. We're gonna get everything else done. Door panels, we came up with a slick idea since we agreed to we're going to call it we're going to keep it that nice lime green, that military lime green, and we're going to ghost 5 stars into the front. You know, so it's just nice and subtle. It won't be anything like poppy. I mean, there's plenty of poppy on this truck. You can actually see the oxidization on the paint right here. This is what it looked like before I buffed it, and then of course right after I buffed it. So it's a lot more sheeny than it was. It's dirty as fuck again, but she does shine up real nice. So she'll get another buff job yet. Get it a little bit deeper, and then we'll give her a nice wax, and she'll be pretty. But it's been a fun project. I gotta condense those 3 remotes because there's 3 different lighting systems. I'm gonna put them all into one app so he can just run it with an app on his phone, and then we can stick those in a little compartment somewhere hidden in there. We got cup holders that glow green. We're gonna have a light that glows green that lights up the whole sub. You know, just like the underneath the dash. I got a couple of those saved aside for that. And then, yeah, nice aluminum center console. That'll be beautiful. Couple cup holders. We'll have to finagle the heater a little bit. It's a tricky little bitch. And then, let's see here. I think that's about it for this, the toy. Oh, I got power plugs for it. So she's going to have, it'll have the same power plugs pretty much that this battery pack I put together has, because I mounted these on the side of it. So it'll have a digital meter like that with one power port. It actually reads the power, but it'll have one of those little USB ports. Only his are green because I wanted green everything. So everything will be nice and green. She's going to be a cool little truck when she's done. She's going to haul ass. At least those tires aren't going to last very long. I know that much. But fun. Right now I am organizing this mess so I can work in here. I got other projects too. I got a navigator that I want to do in 2004. Picked up for $500, so I'll be working on that. And then, of course, my truck and my grandpa's Jeep are both, you know, dear to me, so I got to keep those guys running. My truck I put in a shift kit. It basically blew out overdrive, so it's just too much for it. I kind of figured it was going to either make it better or it was going to totally ruin it, so it totally ruined it. Well, not totally. I can still drive it, but I'll have to get a new transmission, which is what I wanted to do anyway. We'll throw a nice overbuilt 700 R4 back in it. Yeah, she's bumper to bumper new at that point. I mean, there's literally nothing that I haven't replaced. Bushings, steering, everything's done. New axle, rebuilt that, upgraded it. Then my grandpa's Jeep, that thing needs some work. It fried out my fan, my heater fan. Where did that sucker go? I don't know what I did. I think I threw it out, maybe not. I don't know, but it was an electric fan. I converted it from clutch to electric. Did the same thing to my truck. I love it. I recommend it to anybody. And it makes it so much quieter when you're flying down the highway. And, you know, it only comes on when you need it to. And if you're towing, it's really the only way to go. You know, if you got a clutch fan, get rid of that son of a bitch. Get yourself an electric fan and pop that sucker in there. You'd be so much happier, especially when you're under load on a hot day and you just pull over and let the fans do the work and circulate your water, and it'll cool everything right back down without having to, you know, rev your engine higher and keep going. 'Cause that's what you got to do when you're, well, you can pull over and rev your engine, but I mean, that's still loud. I mean, it's just not worth it. I mean, when I first put it in my truck, I actually heard the exhaust going down the downpipe on the highway. And I didn't know what it was. I thought my transmission was going to blow up, but it wasn't. It was just the sound of the exhaust. And I'd never heard it before. That kind of freaked me out, but I'm used to it now. It's nice being that quiet. But I mean, clutch fans, they just rob your engine of power, and they're loud and obnoxious. And just get rid of those sons of bitches. And it's cheap, easy fix, easy conversion. Even, I mean, you just add a temp gauge and a relay and a fan and a shroud, and you're good to go. Make sure you remember the shroud. I've heard people missing those shrouds. They don't realize it doesn't draw air if you don't have a shroud. So that's about it. Oh, there's a sub right there. And there's the Exelon that we're going to put in it. Just waiting. And there's all the new parts. Oh my God, it's just too much. Can't wait to get this truck on the road. This is going to be cool. I mean, I've never seen a 77 that has never been messed with. I mean, it literally was 6 bolts and 2 plugs, and that bed came right off. I didn't have to mess with a bunch of rat's nest wiring that people have wired into it over the years. Nothing has ever been messed with on this thing, and we pretty much tweaked every bit of it so far. Now we're going to fix that annoying little gap right there, because that drives me nuts. Why is it higher than the bed bottom of the... So anyway, we're going to fix that. I think that's about all we're going to do with it. So it's a pretty nifty little truck. All right, until next time.